Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing today? Happy Saturday. I'll be doing these videos a little bit earlier. Reason being is because of my job and stuff like that. You know, hope everybody had a good week, had a good work week. Reason being I'm doing this is doing this now really early because I usually work at midnight. But anyways, just to let you know that my podcast is not influenced by anybody. Every commentary I do is from my own point of view, not influenced by color, race, religion, or creed, or anything like that. And let's get into this. Today, well, this past week there the hearings with Twitter, Facebook, and Microsoft. And what's really crazy is I really wonder if people really think that. Well, no, let me rephrase that. That I'm going to start this off as a question. Do you value your First Amendment rights, your freedom of speech, press, assembly, religion, all that stuff like that? On a for real, do you value other people's opinions and what they think and how people live and run their lives and all that stuff like that? Do you like to would you want other people's ideologies to be imposed upon you? And it's something I've been thinking about. Also, I've been going through in these recent days, and it's become a really big issue with me. As I said before, in September, I was kicked off of Facebook, which I really didn't care, but still is the principle of it. Dealing with my J Da Vinci account, which is basically completely gone. Also kicked off of Twitter a couple days ago. A couple weeks ago, which really I don't care and stuff like that. But again, I say it's the principality of the whole thing. Now in this day and age, you know what I'm saying? Well, these days that the election is coming up and all that stuff like that. There's a lot of censorship and all that stuff. So what I want to do is I want to go through what happened with Twitter with Senator Ted Cruz, and I will give you a little, I'll give you my opinion on it, or we'll just sit there and just go through a commentary of it. Whoa. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. And play.
I believe the single greatest threat to free speech in America and the greatest threat we have to free and fair elections. Yesterday, I spent a considerable amount of time speaking with both Mr. Zuckerberg and Mr. Pichai. I have concerns about the behavior of both of their companies. I would note that Facebook is at the minimum at least trying to make some efforts in the direction of defending free speech. I appreciate their doing so. Google, I agree with the concerns that Senator Klobuchar raised. I think Google has more power than any company on the face of the planet.
True.
And the antitrust concerns are real. The impact of Google is profound. And I expect we will have continued and ongoing discussions about Google's abuse of that power and its willingness to manipulate search outcomes to influence and change election results. But today, I want to focus my questioning on Mr. Dorsey and on Twitter. Because of the three players before us, I think Twitter's conduct has by far been the most egregious. Mr. Dorsey, does Twitter have the ability to influence elections?
No.
You don't believe Twitter has any ability to influence elections?
No, we are one part of a spectrum of communication channels that people have.
So you're testifying to this committee right now that Twitter, when it silences people, when it censors people, when it blocks political speech, that has no impact on elections?
People have choice of other communication channels with which...
Not if they don't hear information. If you don't think you have the power to influence elections, why do you block anything?
Well, we have policies that are focused on making sure that more voices on the platform are possible. We see a lot of abuse and harassment, which ends up silencing people and having them leave from the platform.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, I find your opening questions, your opening answers absurd on their face. Let's talk about the last 2 weeks in particular. As you know, I have long been concerned about Twitter's pattern of censoring and silencing individual Americans with whom Twitter disagrees. But 2 weeks ago, Twitter, and to a lesser extent Facebook, crossed a threshold that is fundamental in our country. 2 weeks ago, Twitter made the unilateral decision to censor the New York Post in a series of 2 blockbuster articles, both alleging evidence of corruption against Joe Biden, the first concerning Ukraine, the second concerning communist China. And Twitter made the decision, number one, to prevent users, any user, from sharing those stories. And number two, you went even further and blocked the New York Post from sharing on Twitter its own reporting. Why did Twitter make the decision to censor the New York Post?
We had a hack materials policy that we...
When was that policy adopted?
In 2018, I believe.
In 2018, go ahead. What was the policy?
So the policy is around limiting the spread of materials that are hacked. We didn't want Twitter to be a distributor for hacked materials. We found that the New York Post, because it showed the direct materials, screenshots of the direct materials, and it was unclear how those were attained, that it fell under this policy. Now,
so in your view, if it's unclear the source of a document, and in this instance, the New York Post documented what it said the source was, which it said it was a laptop owned by Hunter Biden that had been turned into a repair store. So they weren't hiding what they claimed to be the source. Is it your position that Twitter, when you can't tell the source, blocks press stories?
No, not at all. Our team made a fast decision. The enforcement action, however, of blocking URLs, both in tweets and in DM, in direct messages, we believe was incorrect, and we changed it.
Today, right now, the New York Post is still blocked from tweeting 2 weeks later.
Yes, they have to log into their account, which they can do at this minute, delete the original tweet, which fell under our original enforcement actions, and they can tweet the exact same material from the exact same article, and it would go through.
So, Mr. Dorsey, your ability is you have the power to force a media outlet. Let's be clear. The New York Post isn't just some random guy tweeting. The New York Post has the 4th highest circulation of any newspaper in America. The New York Post is over 200 years old. The New York Post was founded by Alexander Hamilton, and your position is that you can sit in Silicon Valley and demand of the media that you can tell them what stories they can publish, and you can tell the American people what reporting they can hear. Is that right?
No, this was every person, every account, every organization that signs up to Twitter agrees to a terms of service. Terms of service.
So media outlets must genuflect and obey your dictates if they wish to be able to communicate with readers. Is that right?
No, not at all. We recognized an error in this policy, and specifically the enforcement.
You're still blocking their posts. You're still blocking their posts. Right now, today, you're blocking their posts.
We're not blocking the posts. Anyone can tweet.
Can the New York Post post on their Twitter account?
If they go into their account.
No is your answer to that. No. Unless they genuflect and agree with your dictates. Let me ask you something. You claimed it was because of a hacked materials policy. I find that facially highly dubious and clearly employed in a deeply partial way. Did Twitter block the distribution of the New York Times' story a few weeks ago that purported to be based on copies of President Trump's tax returns?
We didn't find that a violation of our terms of service in this policy in particular, because it was reporting about the material. It wasn't distributing the material. Okay,
well, that's actually not true. They posted what they purported to be original source materials, and federal law, federal statute makes it a crime, a federal felony, to distribute someone's tax returns against their knowledge. So that material was based on something that was distributed in violation of federal law, and yet Twitter gleefully allowed people to circulate that. But when the article was critical of Joe Biden, Twitter engaged in rampant censorship and silencing.
And again, we recognized errors in that policy. We changed it within 24 hours. This is.
But you're still blocking the New York Post. You haven't changed it.
We have changed it. They can log into their account, delete the original tweet.
You forced a Politico reporter to take down his post about the New York Post as well. Is that correct?
Within that 24-hour period, yes. But we, as the policy has changed, anyone can tweet.
So Twitter takes you can censor the New York Post, you can censor Politico, presumably you can censor the New York Times or any other media outlet. Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs?
Let's give Mr. Dorsey a few seconds to answer that, and then we'll have to conclude this segment.
Well, we're not doing that, and this is why I opened this hearing with calls for more transparency. We realize we need to earn trust more. We realize that more accountability is needed to show our intentions and to show the outcomes.
Thank you, Senator.
So I hear the concerns and acknowledge them, but we want to fix it with more transparency.
So, Twitter themselves, hold on. So Twitter has hold on, it's still messing up, hold on.
Donald J. Trump. And I'm proud to be
Sorry about that. So as you hear, as you see, Jack Dorsey has the power. Basically what you call a dictator of a public platform to control what goes on his platform. All right, that's cool. Do you really think that's right? Do any of y'all think that's right? Why people can sit there and say the LGBTQ, RSTUV, they can put everything they want. Liberals can put what they want. Not that I'm saying that I hate the LGBT, because I don't. I may not agree with what they do, but all in all, because they're children of God, I don't have no hate for them. Just don't agree with what they do. But due to the society and this what you call what they call the cancel culture, that if you do not agree with what's inside the narrative, they will completely wipe you off of platforms. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at my profile. This is my Twitter profile right here. All right, my account was suspended. Am I mad? Not really. But it's the principle that actually irritates me, but I'm not mad. Just because we put stuff on, just because we disagree with somebody's narrative, we get kicked off. And this is a very, very, very serious thing right here. All this right here is supposed to be what they call is a public forum for people to express their ideas, their thoughts, and all that stuff, And account suspended, which violates the Twitter rules. Can't log on, can't get in, can't do none of that. The reason being you can't do it is because you don't agree with the narrative, or the Trump supporter. I said this before. As a black man that is conservative, constitutionalist, Does that give Twitter the right to take away my account? I mean, do the same rules apply to black conservative, black constitutionalists? Hello, test 1 2. Okay, making sure my mic works. To black constitutionalists, does it actually apply to me as well as black liberals or black cancel culture type folk, SJWs? Does the same laws apply to me as what applies to them? Which really it doesn't. We all got to sit back and learn, man, what's going on. We all got to sit back and really study and research bylaws and the difference between a public platform and a publisher, you know, and that's not being done because a lot of cats are sitting there, they're all lazy about it. They're very, very lazy about it, and it's very sad that people in generalization don't do their research, don't do their due diligence. And since this election is coming out, all our information is being suppressed and all that type stuff, we don't even get a chance. We will even get a chance to speak our minds. Some cats will probably say, "Oh yeah, man, let's get yourself another account." Only reason being I got another Facebook account is because I had this account since 2017 because I already knew, you know. And I don't know why a lot of cats sit there and talk about, "Oh well, man, I don't want no one knowing anything about me and all that stuff like that." You gotta understand that people, they already know. They know everything about you. Twitter, Facebook, Google, doing your stuff online, or they got your account numbers, your credit card numbers. They know where you live. You know what I'm saying? They know where you go because you sit there and you post it. You know, and it's all like basically NSA. You know what I'm saying? All this information, and it's sold to big corporations, sell their products, yada, 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 whatever, your smart TVs, cell phones, you know what I'm saying? Alexis, Cortana from Microsoft, all that. Everything hears you. Everything hears you. Every piece of electronic equipment these days knows what makes you tick. Sad. Very, very sad. And also use it against you. Y'all got to really think about what's happening in these next few days, especially dealing with this election. No one really knows. This Tuesday, people go to the polls, vote who's going to be president of the United States, who you want to vote for. I see a lot of YouTubers sitting there talking about with Senator Cruz, "Oh yeah, well, it's too little, too late." You know what? I look at it this way: it's better late than never. You know, it even goes to regular conservatives, right wing, left wing, whatever you want to call it. You know, better late than never. But we are in very, very perilous times right now. Very, very perilous times. Every day I sit there, man. I get up in the morning, I sit there and I think and I pray that things don't get no worse than what they are right now. You know, for the past 10 months, you know, been wearing masks. To me, I'm like this, man. What's the use of Halloween when we've been wearing masks for the past 10 months? And going on 11 months. You know, it's sad. It's very, very sad. You know, that we are letting these I ain't going to sit there, I ain't going to call it the left, but let these tyrants, because that's what they are, control our way of life, control our thinking, you know, control our very, very action. People worried about what other people think. And then worrying about other people, what other people think, you let them other people take control of you. No sense of independent thought. Nobody sits there and discusses their issues, come to a happy medium. I could really care less if you're on the left, right, Democrat, Republican, Christian, Jew, Muslim, whatever. Everybody has a freedom to do that. And bit by bit by bit, they're chipping away at our very, very rights. Can't speak your mind. People just get all mad. When you sit there and tell the truth, people don't want to hear the truth. People would rather you lie to them than tell the truth. You know, people say the truth will set you free. But here, carnally thinking, the truth will put you inside of a mental cage, or their truth, or the truth that they impose on you, even though that's not even what you're thinking. Shit, I've been through that. I still go through that to this day. You know, and in a way that's irritating, because people think that they know you, and they don't. People think they know your thoughts, but they don't. You know, I mean, I can sit there, bitch, cry, moan, and all that stuff like that, you know, but get all mad, get all irate, and be like, oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Nah. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting to that point. I'm getting to that point that I'm very, very numb of what other people think. I mean, and when I'm saying getting numb to what other people think, is that when people have an idea or discussing a certain subject, I'm getting more and more to the point of, almost to a point of like disregard, ignoring them. You know, go in one ear and out the other. Oh yeah, man, here we go. People be sitting there talking all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This la-di-da-di-da-di-da-da-da-da. On a four-wheel, I mean, really. That's what I do. You know? I mean, I'm listening. I'll interject. I'll give my opinion even though they're not hearing me. So it gets to the point that I hear you, but you don't want to hear me. And even in generalization, I sort of go, yeah, I agree. I know. I mean, what's funny is I understand exactly what every side is talking about. And from what I've seen from most people's points of view, you know, most people's points of view is that we want the same things. In all essence, if you really look at it through the microscope, that we all want the same thing. My father used to tell me this, man. It's not what you want, it's what you need. And I think we forget, or we take advantage of what we need and focus on what we want. We ignore our needs. We ignore our basic freedoms. We ignore the little things in life that makes the world tick. And then what's very, very sad is when all the little things are at stake, we just give it up. You know, we just give it up or not care. And it's sad. It's very, very sad that we just take advantage. We take advantage of our freedoms. We take advantage of our lives and not worried about our livelihood. you know, things that matter. But the things that don't matter, the carnal things, those right there are the things that matter the most. What am I going to wear today? Or what is this guy or what is this person going to think if I do this or that? And not doing things for yourself and under an illusion that you're doing this for yourself, and you're really not, because you're doing it for others. And it's like, wow, man, like really? You know what I'm saying? You really think you're doing it for yourself, but you're really trying to please others? You know? You're not, and maybe it comes to like your self-esteem or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at this. I go in other panels and I sit there and I talk to people and stuff, and they're so caught up in this ideal, you know what I'm saying, especially when it comes to your own race and your own culture and all that stuff like that. And you hear more racist remarks from your own race than the others. But they're the first people to sit there and call a person, oh, well, you're a white supremacist, and especially when you're black, that's kill you. Or they'll call you a coon, Uncle Tom. Look what they did to Ice Cube. You know, look what they're giving. Look what they're doing to Lil Wayne. Look what they're doing to all these cats that think differently. And then you have Joe Biden thinking that us as black people are monotheistic thinkers. And then you're looking at the polls and it's proven different. We have all these different narratives in our press. We watch TV, CNN, NBC, CBS, Fox, all these legacy media, news outlets, and just putting all this poison inside your heads, and y'all believe it instead of just looking outside or look in the mirror or walk down your streets and seeing what's going on, and you just ignore it. That a small minority thinking that they're the majority just because the power of the press pushing this narrative. I sit there and I talk to my friends around the world and all that stuff like that don't even live in this country, and they're going through the same shit that we're going through. Let alone we think that we're the only ones, the only country in the entire world that's going through this bullshit. Man, I tell you what, man. I really, really tell you what. I say at least 3 or 4 times a week, I say probably about anywhere between 3 to 5 hours, I talk to my friends from other countries, and it's all the same thing. All the same thing. You know, and we just don't get it. And when we don't get it, but even in their countries, they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the same thing I'm saying here is the same thing my friends from other countries are saying. Not just here, Europe. Well, I didn't say Europe because there's a whole bunch of countries out there. Australia, they're going through it. Chinese are really, really going through it. So we can't even really get on the Chinese as in the people. Just a communist party that's oppressing their people. Just like the Democratic Party is trying to oppress us like the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? In our own people that's inside our that's inside our government, Democrat and Republican. You know what I'm saying? But the majority Democrat selling out this country, selling out our people, our jobs, want to get rid of our fossil fuels, want to get rid of our fracking, take away our guns. You can sit there and crowd an airplane, go to a restaurant, crowd all this other stuff, but you can't even go to a church and worship God freely. Everything. I mean, everything else, but church, no. You don't go to church. COVID. And I ain't gonna lie. I said my spirituality plays a big part of my decisions. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a firm believer in having goodwill to all people, not just a certain group of people. People of my own race will sit there and dog you out. I'm not saying all, so don't sit there and make your own little narrative. Oh, he's selling out. He's calling out his own people. Yeah, I'm harder on my own. Just like a father being a coach of a blame baseball team, and he even coaches his son. The father is going to be harder on his son that he coaches than the rest of the kids on the baseball team. Granted, why? Because he loves them. He loves him. He wants his son to be the best. Even though at the same time you gotta treat everybody equal when we're on a practice field. But when you get home, that's when you have it. That's when you have it. The hardest on your son. Hardest on the people that's closest to you because you want them to be better. But at the same time, when you sit there and you go out there in the public, everybody is on equal field. Everybody's equal. Now think about it when it comes to being a person of another race, either black. I'm just going to say black because it is a little bit different. I ain't going to sit there and lie. You know what I'm saying? Because my moms used to tell me that, Jay, you will always be black. She didn't say it out of being racist or anything like that. But since she was born in the 50s, 60s, I think in the 50s, and went through the civil rights and all that, grandfather running around Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, when he was younger, you know what I'm saying, in that movement, back in the day. I remember I went to Atlanta. It was like my first day there when I went to Atlanta, and I was there for a year. First place I went to was Ebenezer Church. Very first place, before I did anything, I went to Ebenezer Church. The church where Martin Luther King preached at. Why did I do that? Because when I was a kid, what's so funny about the whole thing is that I walked in there and I sat in the same pew where me, my mom, my dad, my grandfather, my grandmother, all of them sat that same pew. And I sat there for like about 30 minutes and just reminisced. This is back in 2012. And it was almost like a revelation, like an epiphanic state. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what was going to happen. And just reminisced on the times I was growing up. Because there was a lot of growth I did, like once I sat there and I left home. And I watched how people got more sensitive until they became, just sensitive about everything. Turned to actual snowflakes that you couldn't say shit. Couldn't even do your mama jokes or anything like that. Growing up, we used to sit there and just tease each other and just rip, you know. Your mama's this, your mama's that, your daddy's this, your daddy's this. Now people want to sit there and fight. 2012 comes up. Now, taking, LGBTQ or STUV, we need rights, we're being oppressed, we're getting beat up. You know what? I have friends that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, that are homosexual now, that been homosexual. You knew they were homosexual. I don't know why. People say they were born with it, but I don't believe it. I think it's a choice. You know, that's my opinion. If people don't like it, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. I think it's a choice. You like men because you want them. I don't think nobody's born gay. It's a choice. Just like everything. You know what I'm saying? As you grow older. But does that sit there for a person's character, as in how they respect other people, how they intermingle, how they react to people? Just because they're for sexual preference, do I have to treat them bad? No. Why? Because even in the Bible it says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." You know what I'm saying? So I forgive them. Or, you know what I'm saying? What he says, like this, do I condone homosexuality? No, I don't. But I still love them as creations of God. You know? And it goes to a point that I always say, it's not my will, but your will be done. I always say that. And even though, as I'm growing, I'm like, I just love. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't agree, I just love. It comes really natural to me. You know? At one point, which I talk about, that, you know, that if it wasn't a person that was a homosexual, and he basically saved my life. So I gotta sit there and judge him because he's gay and not like him. God uses everybody. But as it kept on going, like all this stuff, just, why does people want all this power? You know? What makes these people tick inside their brain? I really, really try to understand. It's not just gay. It's not just all these superficial things. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? Why is the superficial things so important than the important things that people need? What gratification do these people have? You know, same thing with back to the big tech. You know, it's like, just because you got money, you got power, you own a company and all that stuff like that, and you call it a public platform, and then you stop major news networks, you stop regular people from expressing their thoughts, expressing their beliefs, and you just condemn them. Just condemn them. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You can't even think outside of the box. You know, even at my job. Well, my last job, when I sat there and I left. I was getting ready to leave anyways, but it just made it a little bit quicker for me. It's sad. It's very sad, extremely sad. You know. And what's funny is I saw this post on Facebook, and I shared it. And I think a lot of people have to really have to really look at this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put this up. Excuse me. Because I thought it was very, very powerful. And I lost a lot of friends just because of my political points of view. The way I look at things. That they hate me, but I don't hate them. And I think that's really what's bad, is that you never done anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And they sit there and look at you. But it was like this. From a friend, and I agree 100%. I still love my Democrat friends and family, but you see it your way, and I see it my way. I am not you, and you are not me. You see Trump's arrogance, I see Trump's confidence. You see Trump's nationalism, I see Trump's patriotism. You hear Trump's unsophisticated words, I hear Trump's honesty. You see racism, I see Trump's words being misconstrued and twisted by the daily media only to fit their narrative. You see Trump as a Republican, I see Trump as a patriot. You see Trump as a dictator, I see Trump as a leader. You see Trump as an authoritarian, I see Trump as the only one willing to fight for our freedoms. You see Trump as childish, I see Trump as a fighter. I'm willing to cave into the lies. You see Trump as an unpolished politician, I see Trump as a breath of fresh air. You think Trump hates immigrants, I know Trump is married to an immigrant. You see Trump putting an end to immigration in America, I see Trump welcoming immigrants to America legally. You see Trump's cages on the border, I see Obama's cages on the border. You see Trump with a struggling economy, I see Trump with an amazing economy until the Democrats shut it down. You see the violence in the streets, and you call it Trump's America. I see the violence in the streets of a Democratic-run cities who are refusing Trump's help to call it liberal America. You want someone more presidential. I'm happy we have someone who finally doesn't talk the talk, but actually walks the walk. You and I, we see things very different, but we are still friends. Trump Pence. But I thought this was very, very powerful, because a person may sit there and say one thing, which has happened to me all the time, and it gets misconstrued as something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can actually sit there and change the narrative of what you are saying and make it into their own little minds of you meaning something else. And it's sad. Sometimes I sit back and I look and I say something to somebody, a simple point, and all of a sudden they're telling me what I mean, and it's not even what I mean. How many of y'all actually sit there and go through this? How many of y'all, you sit there and you say one thing and it gets turned into something else, and you're like, that's not what I meant. And then they insist that, then they tell you that's what you meant, and you're saying no. Then it becomes an argument, becomes a fight, or becomes something that you that wasn't even your intention of that certain subject to become. You know what I'm saying? But we think that's all right. I mean, we really think it's right. Well, this is what you said. Yeah, it's what I said, but it's not what I mean, because people don't have comprehension, context, and common sense. The 3 C's: comprehension, context, and common sense. They're gone. It's like gone. You look at like these narratives of the recent shooting in Philadelphia. Well, they shouldn't have shot him all them times and yada yada yada, when every single time there's a riot or Black Lives Matter, Antifa, but why do Black Lives Matter and Antifa and these other organizations glorify criminals? Now, if I was a cop, all right, and as I says, I am a black man, and that dude came at me with a knife, and they didn't have no tasers, but charging with a knife. I saw the video. The mother tried to stop him. While you have all these other brothers out there, the cops are sitting there saying, "Put the knife down. Put the knife down. You heard it. You heard it. Put the knife down." And they were fleeing. They were backing up. They went around the car. They had their guns drawn, trying to get away from him. And he still kept on coming. What the fuck are you going to do? Let him stab you? Here's the thing that people got to really understand. And this is all the same point. You know what I'm saying? With this narrative. Twitter, Facebook, Microsoft. All right? Same point. They get this narrative and they say, well, these cops sat there and shot a black man. Everybody's in there believing, all right, going Black Lives Matter, Antifa, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Pigs in a blanket, frying like bacon, whatever they say. You know what I'm saying? So the guy gets shot dead. I want to tell you what. I would have shot him too. You know? But he was mentally disturbed. Okay, mentally, and I'm tired of these excuses. All right, I really am. I'm tired. It's like every time someone does something stupid, oh, mental issues, he's taking medication, yada yada yada. Or any time that somebody does something wrong or does something fucked up, it always goes down to mental issues. All right? I am really to the point of not even believing that. I believe it's a choice. You know, I really believe it's a choice. I mean, I've thought of crazy shit, but I never done it because I knew it was wrong. You know, I mean, because this is all psyche. This is like a big smorgasbord of oh man, I want to say psychological experiment, but it's not an experiment, but it's still psychological. It's like a mind fuck. I mean, the most deviant, complex mind fuck. You know, I mean, I can't even wrap my head around some of this shit that be happening around the world, around the United States, inside of our towns, in these cities. It's like where is this logic coming from? And the only logical conclusion that I can make is It's demonic. I mean, I've said before, this shit is demonic. Very, very demonic. You know, some people don't believe in God or atheists and all that stuff like that. But this is some real demonic shit that's happening. You know, these people are possessed. This, like it says, I'm off the party plantation. All right, I'm not Democrat, Republican. I'm registered independent. And the reason being, as I said, because the meaning of the word, because it's the only thing closest to me that I can actually, you know, relate to. Independent, the meaning of the word, and being independent. But if I sat there and I really, really keyed in my belief, right? Yes, I believe in Jesus Christ, God first. You know, and that's always going to be first in every decision that I make. If you condone me, oh well. God bless you. Fuck you with a smile. You know what I'm saying? You go your way, I go mine. Leave me alone. But it's a lot of stuff on this planet is just hard to wrap your head around. You know, and I'm almost to the point that I'm skeptical on even giving people a benefit of a doubt. You know, I'm forgiving, but I see it the way I see it the way I see it, just through their actions. You know, by the fruits they bear. That's the only thing I can judge by is by the fruits they bear, by their actions. You know what I'm saying? Which I expect from other people to judge me by my actions. Some people don't know what good and evil is. Some people think it's like a social construct. They call being a male and female a social construct. That their two sexes don't even exist. It's a social construct. And it's crazy. So looking at being independent, to narrow it down to where I stand, you know, I'm a constitutionalist. That's as much as I can pinpoint here on earth, on this earth, in this lifetime, in this place, in this being, in this realm of consciousness, in this realm of infinites, is I'm a constitutionalist. You know what I'm saying? As written. That the Constitution was based on a Judeo-Christian basis. And that's what it is. That's what it is. That's where I'm at. You know? But we got to sit there, man, really look at things. Look at things more clearly. Then once I actually get a day off, you know, get back to having a streaming and all that stuff like that and have discussions. I'm sitting there just ranting because there's really not much to rant about. I'm just, you know, just going off the cuff. And just to let you know what I'm saying, before I close out, I'll be having an interview this weekend. It'll be dealing with the militias. You know, everybody knows about the governor from Michigan, how they said that they were going to kidnap her and all that stuff like that. So I got people that actually knew that are people that are in the militia, that knows them people that was quote unquote trying to kidnap the governor, but I ain't going to say much about it. we've been talking for, I say, about 2 or 3 weeks. I was on a panel, and one of them just reached out to me, and we got to talking, and he told me on what the militias was about, general, but also a lot of other things, you know, lots and lots of other things that I didn't even know. The reason why they were going to get him, because I'm going to tell you what, the only thing I'm going to say about the governor of Michigan is that they wasn't going to the governor's house to kidnap her. I'm just going to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Let y'all marinate on it. It's not, they were going to do a citizen's arrest and take her to the authorities. And I'm going to leave it at that. But anyways, I want y'all to have a nice day. I got to get back to sleep. I got to work tonight. And I want y'all, just a man, to be blessed. Look in the mirror. Please, I implore y'all to vote wisely. You know, America first. You know, your people first, your neighborhoods first, your families first, our society first. You know, on earth. But foremost is God, Jesus Christ, me. If you're Christian, you know what I'm saying, pray hard. Pray for our president. Pray for our family. Pray for those who are sick. Pray for those who are even, you know, have people that like lost ones. People that they've lost over the past year. I had quite a few, you know. And just at the, I never really do this, but, you know, a special prayer goes out to the Militias family. You know, one of my friends from childhood, babies, passed away. So I want to give love to the Militias family. Also, I want to give love to the Carlton family. You know, and everybody else, Crows, Carnies, Throwers, Mascus, Ciphers, Scrantons, whole bunch of cats. There was a lot of death this year, you know, and prayers for all these families and their losses, and mothers, Ellenbergs, you know, and as I said, this has been very, very, very trying year, but also this year had a lot of blessings too as well. And, you know, everybody just be safe. You know what I'm saying? And like I say at the end of every blog I do, you know, everybody have a great day. God bless. And fuck you, Zuckerberg. And fuck you, Dorsey. And fuck the CEO from Microsoft. Or just say, fuck big tech with a smile. Peace. I'm out.